So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to World Cup 4 in Hungary, Kecskemét. I am Heather Fell, and I am joined by...
Hello, Heather. I'm Charles Fernandez, and I have the honor of being able to share here on live TV of the sport of modern pentathlon, which we are in the riding event right now.
So we're starting our first rider up. Is Ginta Vankaskaite from Lithuania, and she is riding horse Avatar. So she is our first athlete into the riding arena. And she's had not a great competition and not a good start. That's one pole down at fence 2. And she's 36th out of the 36 athletes in this final. So we start with the lower ranked athletes first. And we'll see the higher standard athletes as the afternoon progresses. So have you walked the course yet, Charles?
I have walked the course. For me, the course is great. I mean, it's a great course that will test the ability of maneuverability and also horse control. And I think it's a great and skillful course where the athletes will be tested to see who will be able to ride the best, the fastest, and the cleanest.
So this round's looking, she's getting around and it's perfectly safe and sensible. A little bit sticky. The horse doesn't look as though he's flowing as much as he could be as he comes into the treble now. But I think the latter part of the course from when I walked it looks the easier half. So to start with, there's quite a few turns.
Yeah, I think the from jump number 11 to 12, that's going to be one of the most difficult maneuverability tests there will be, because 11 goes straight to 12.
Well, here we go right now as we see, but
and she clears it.
It rode nicely for the first round, so it'll be interesting to see as the day progresses how the course rides. So that is the conclusion of our first rider, Ginta Vankaskaite. We'll hopefully see her score in just a moment, but there was only a couple of poles. And there goes one of them.
Pole number 2.
And there we go.
291.
So it was just the one pole she had down.
And 2 seconds of time penalty.
So she's got a score of 720, but it looks like it's probably not her day today. So even with a ride like that, she's not going to be making much effect on the rest of the field.
No, but there's 35 athletes left, and you know anything can happen.
So it's nice to see a decent course. As the season's gone on, I've felt that the show jumping has actually, the standard of the course building and the jumps has improved. And
oh, it's improved greatly. I mean, me as an athlete, riding these courses have been really fun. I mean, I've really enjoyed it. The courses are well built. The height is, very acceptable, and I think it shows a lot now with the riding event, especially in modern pentathlon, compared to previous years where the riding hasn't been as enforced with the difficulty.
Yeah, so this is one of the bigger courses we've seen this year, but it looks like we're just seeing some athletes in the warm-up, and that's Heidi Mory we saw riding towards us, the Egyptian athlete riding Casino. But we should be expecting Ilka Özüksel from Turkey into the arena next, so we just have to wait and see as she comes from the warm-up arena. And there we see it's a grass surface here. We did have a lot of rain this morning, so much so that actually the bonus round had to be indoors. But the ground's a little bit softer, but it should still be nice going for the horses. And I think now, Charles, it looks like we've actually skipped one, and we might have Heidi Mory coming into the arena.
Yeah, well, maybe it looks like Turkey will not be riding in this final, as she has not appeared to the course. So we'll skip to number 34, which is Heidi Mory from Egypt.
So Mory is actually only 15 years old, and she's had a good start to her World Cup season, riding being the discipline that she struggles in the most, but she's already got around 2 courses so far this year, but I'm sure she's still incredibly nervous. She looks nervous on the horse.
Oh yeah, I would. I mean, me, if I were 15 years old and her, I'd be pretty nervous myself, as her being one of the youngest, most talented athletes in the world of modern pentathlon, being the youngest out there would, says a lot. But Over the years, she has improved a lot with her riding and the way she does things, so we'll see how she finishes this course.
Looks like she's on quite a strong horse as he turned the corner, and he locked onto fence number 1 and thought, right, we're off. But as long as she can point him at the right fence,
correct,
I think
yep.
she
the horse will do it, yep.
yeah, he'll sort her out, and he's doing that so far. So Heidi Morsy is riding Casino, and we'll see all of these horses go again at the second half of the draw later this afternoon. And
even the horse is going a little bit fast. We see that's jumping somewhat comfortable.
Yeah, she looks like she's doing her best she can, but being new and novice to riding, she's probably, you can see she hasn't quite got the strong seat that's needed to control a strong horse like this.
Correct. She dumps number 8, heads on to number 9, and now will encounter herself with the triple.
She seems to be incredibly getting around this quite smoothly.
Yeah, she's holding on to that horse and looking to the next jump after each other jump, and we'll see how she passes number 11 and number 12.
And it's looking like she's starting to relax a little bit as the ride goes on.
Exactly, and she passes a course clear.
Wow, I did not expect that at the beginning, seeing as Heidi Morsy came into really looking very nervous, holding on to him with a forward posture that she's got there. But what a great ride. She'll be really happy, and I've got a lot of confidence from that round.
Yeah, she's over the years, she has been participating in several World Cups, I think. I don't think she went to Rome, but she was in Sarasota and Egypt, and now here in Hungary. And I think she's gained a lot of experience, especially from the mixed relay and heading into the final in Egypt. Whereas little by little, she will get more experience by each competition, and so far so good. I mean, she passed the course fine with 300 points, which is incredible.
And I mean, at that age, it really is about getting the experience, and to be up there competing against these top athletes, you're 10 years, 15 years younger than some of the top ones. So she's got a great career ahead of her.
Yeah, I've noticed there's a lot of young athletes heading into the finals, but now we have Camina Lontano from Italy.
I'm sure she will be cursing her coaches if she sees her profile picture that they just showed them. No one likes a picture of themselves running. Well, I certainly don't.
I wouldn't either.
So Camilla Lontano of Italy, she'll be riding Londi. She's just being led in now by her coach.
Not a very good fence. She finished in 34th place, and in the swimming with the 2:16, positioned herself in 12th. So
as she enters the arena, she'll be presenting to the judges' box. All athletes must either come in at whatever pace they fancy, but they must salute the judges in the box, and then they wait for the bell to be rung. And after the bell, they...
40 seconds, is it? 40 seconds till the first jump?
Well, it used to be 30. You're probably more up to date than I am, Charles, but the clock has definitely started ticking. But as long as they are at the start within the time allowed, then that is not a problem. The biggest problem, we actually saw it in Rome with one of the German athletes. She went before the bell and got eliminated. So it's very important you listen for that starting warning. But good start, clear of the first 2 fences for Lontano of Italy, and it looks good. The horses have always a good standard in Hungary, and it's a country that's really proud of the sport of pentathlon.
Yeah, she looks like a very experienced rider by the way she's riding and controlling the horse. We'll see how she finishes the rest of the course. So far, clean.
Again, she looks like she's maybe fighting slightly with him, but I expect with the boys tomorrow, we'll see the horses act quite differently. Just the difference of a little bit more weight and a bit more strength that you see from the men.
A bit more control, exactly.
Just deviated slightly off her line, but it might have been the horse doing that naturally just to make sure his stride was correct. And this horse is very economic in his jumping. He's clearing the fences, but he's not putting in any more effort than he needs to. You can see there, just literally skimming the jumps.
Clears 10C.
And Lontano just giving him a bit of encouragement now. She
takes that cut.
Riding quite positively over 11, really making sure he picks up nicely, and that's another clear round. We just have to wait for the time to be confirmed, but I didn't see any poles go down myself. Charles, did you?
No poles, and she took that cut from from the triple 10 to the 11. And hopefully she cuts some time there. So I think she passed the course with some extra time in her hands.
So she'll be very happy with that ride, no doubt. And again, it's when you're down at the bottom half of the draw in the at this stage of the competition, it's unlikely you're going to be threatening for any significant positions, but you can hopefully go and enjoy the day and gain some experience, and she's another young athlete who will be doing that here today.
Exactly. It's always very rewarding when you get a clean ride, especially with this level of competition there is here. And in the arena, we have Tamga from Mexico. Not a very good fence, and 26th place in swimming, so now we'll see how she will manage on this course. On horse.
So Tamga's on Henry.
On Henry.
Very English name. Tamara is studying full-time in international relations at the moment over in Mexico. But she had a decent start to the season. She's already won a medal in the mixed relay at one of the earlier World Cups.
Yeah, 13th place in Sarasota also. Trying to get her points up. There goes one bar in number 2. She's trying to get her points up in the World Cup ranking. That way she can assist the World Cup final in Minsk, Belarus.
It's interesting. Her horse looks, as though it might have given birth recently. He's got a fair old stomach on it, but knocked another pole down, so maybe just not quite fit enough for this standard of show jumping. He looks very healthy.
Looks very healthy horse. Looks very comfortable jumping the course. Doesn't look in any sort of rush, but you know, at the end we'll see how she finishes the course with time.
He just looks a little bit uncomfortable to ride. It's got quite a short stride compared to some of the more flowing horses we saw in Italy. I think the Hungarian horses are a little bit stockier breeding and designed more for pentathlon.
I personally never had any experience with Hungarian horses, so we'll see how that turns out tomorrow. But so far, I like what I see. But
we'll wait and see. But
exactly.
They're usually the sort of horse that's ideal for pentathlon because they need to be ridden well, but they are also forgiving if it's the first time you're riding a horse, so they're not maybe as difficult. That was interesting. She just took her hand off the reins and gave the horse a tap going through the treble, which you don't see very often because it can unbalance, but she obviously felt that she needed that extra impulsion to come out the other end.
See how she finishes jump 11. Is up to 12. And the course with 2 bars, a total of penalty points of 14 points. We'll see if she has any time penalty points.
So I know we've only seen 4 riders already in the arena, but I have a feeling we're not going to see too many faults with today's ride. So just the 2 poles there for a 4th round of the day.
Didn't really get into the position on that jump, which may have caused, at the end we have 272 points in the ride. That's four time penalties, 4 seconds. So that was the Tamga.
So interesting. So the time obviously needs to be, the athletes need to be aware of the time because she had a flowing round, but it was a little bit static. So
yeah.
So next into the arena, we've got an athlete who's very strong on the riding phase, and surprising to see her this low down in the standings at this stage in the event. She had a great semi-final, started off first into the combined event and qualified relatively comfortably into today's final. So I think she'll be a bit frustrated with her fence this morning.
Yeah, we'll see. Not very good fencing. Also placed 27th place in the swim with a 219. And she just started the course clearing jump number 1.
And it might not be Natal's day today, so 1 pole so far, but especially with the riding being her strongest discipline. But often as a pentathlete, I find that, you know, if things are going to go wrong, you almost want to get them all out of the way on one day.
Always, always. I mean, pentathlon, anything can happen, and, you know, whatever happens, you just got to let it go and keep on moving forward throughout the day, because at the end, there's 5 sports and not 1.
So Natalia Coyle riding Darcy.
She seems to be holding the horse back. The horse doesn't seem too comfortable. But
he looks like one of the more flighty horses that we've seen so far this morning. Definitely not as steady as the last couple of rounds that we've seen. just putting in a funny little skip stride there, but Tal trying to set him up, but it looks like he's not being easy. You can see he's not carrying his head as straight as some of the others, and Tal really having to use her riding skill on this horse. And he looks very keen to cut the corner, but she's making sure.
She's cutting the corner. Takes jump number 11.
Oh, that was unfortunate. I was just about to say she got away with just the one pole, but one more rail down at the final fence, and she just rode that a little bit too close and didn't quite have the perfect stride into the final fence, but I think she did a good job with a horse that maybe wasn't one of the easiest. And watching back the replay of the fence number 2 knockdown, she approached that nicely and he just didn't quite pick his feet up. So
with that cut from 10 to 11, I think she took a little bit of time off there, so she finishes with a total of 286 points.
So yeah, just another view of the final fence. She knew it was going down as she looked back there. So now we've already got our next rider into the arena, another accomplished rider actually from Great Britain. It's Kate French, and she looks like she's also on quite a strong horse.
Yeah, for what I've seen, I mean, all the horses here are pretty strong, which is which also tests the athlete's ability to control a horse, and so far she's looking pretty well. Very great rider, as I've seen.
I mean, Kate will be looking forward to getting a good ride under her belt, because she did not have a good ride in Rome, and it's very unusual to see her.
She did not. I saw that. I saw that live. And,
I felt for her. She just lost it a little bit. The horse was a bit strong, and then she seemed to just stop riding at the end, because her ability is much better than that, and she knows that, and she would have gone back and certainly worked on her ride, but she's making it.
So far, she's proven it. After these jumps, now she's going to head into jump number 7.
She's really having to sit upright in between, and you can see this is the difference between an experienced athlete and not. She's really using her seat to control the horse and not let him get too flat or go too fast. So into the triple, and that's when you can get caught out if you're slightly too fast, and maybe Kate didn't manage to quite hold him back enough, and by the third.
Cutting that corner also.
Lots of air over number 11.
She clears number 12.
So a decent round, but I think Kate looked like she had to ride pretty
She had to control the
strongly.
horse, yes, exactly. She had to sit down, control the horse, and in my opinion, she rode very well. But either way, I mean, there's always that bar that will ever fall.
So, okay, Kate did a decent job there. So that was Kate French on Bobby or Bobby? Might be, I think I'm going to go Bobby. Bobby has 2 Bs. So anyway,
exactly.
we won't forget Bobby. We'll see later.
Finishes with 293 points.
So we are getting towards the halfway point of the first round of the 2 rounds of women's riding. And now it's our first Japanese athlete, Natsumi Tomonaga. And she's riding Admiralis.
Not a very good fence also, positioning herself in position number 33 with 13 victories and 22 defeats. But had a very good swim, 295 points, 8th place with a time of 2:15. So
Tomonaga looking a little less secure in her seat than the previous 2 riders of Coyle and French.
There goes 1 bar on number 1.
You can see she looks very perched on top of the horse, and
it's another bar on number 2.
It doesn't look too comforting or comfortable to even watch, let alone to be on the horse for her. I expect she's feeling the nerves right now at this standard of competition. As we said, the jumps are looking up to height. It's a maximum of 1.20 m, and I think some of them on the course will be reaching that height today in Kecskemét. And there we go. I think that was going to happen sooner or later. She's had the first run out, so that's an extra 10 penalties she's just received for missing that fence. She's going to have a second approach now. So 2 refusals at 1 fence means you then approach the next, so she will be coming onto the next fence trying to gather herself, and she's clear. She has 2 more refusals in the bag, so to speak. So now if an athlete has 4 refusals, they are eliminated. But she seems to be back on track.
Yeah, she seems to regain control and now somewhat comfortably passing this course, but we still have the triple.
And here we go.
Just another.
So she's lost her stirrup now, and I think when you're of a level of riding such as Tomonaga, you really can't be approaching a fence without your stirrup. Her balance isn't good enough. She doesn't have a strong enough seat, and she'll really struggle to direct the horse. But I think I can see that coming the second time. She didn't have the right approach, and we will hear the bell go in just a moment. So sadly, that is disqualification for Tomonaga, as she politely goes back to salute the judges and say thank you.
Yeah, I feel that, you know, these type of situations, especially after one refusal, you have to gain control of the horse and really give the horse an opportunity to start back up instead of trying to force it into the jump right away. But sadly, she was eliminated, if I'm not wrong, with 4 refusals.
Yeah, so she'll have to go and back to the drawing board, I think, but a lot of work to be done for Tomonaga and her riding, because that was purely riding error, I'm sorry to say. But anyway, now we are back to a ride of a much higher standard as we welcome into the arena Germany's Lano riding Cecile.
Not a very good day for her. Finished 21 in the fence with 17 victories and 18 defeats. 271 points in the swim, positioning herself in 33rd place with a time of 2:23.
It's quite unusual to see Lena have such a poor fence. The swimming, she knows she's not fit. She had an illness after the first World Cup, and we haven't really seen her doing much this season. She did actually come in the top 6 in Sarasota, but has been struggling to come back to form since then. And she's just started back, only just had 1 week of hard training, so she knows she's not physically fit. But chatting to her, she said, you know, at least she can still do a good fence, and she did that in the semi-final. But today, it just wasn't working for her. And I was watching her fencing; she just wasn't really sharp, and it was just not all.
Yeah, I believe the pentathletes. There goes 1 bar on 5B. I believe that pentathletes, you know, have their days in each sport, and apparently today wasn't her day.
But I'm sure she won't be worrying too much, because she knows even if she had a good fence, she's still not in the right form for her running and swimming. So it's just a matter of getting competition fit again for the Olympic champion.
Yes.
But she's doing a good job of the riding. It's one thing that she would say herself doesn't necessarily need pentathlon fitness. Yes, a bit of riding conditioning, but it's more just how you feel the next day. But there goes, sadly, another rail for Schoeneborn. So 2 poles down so far, just...
She's cutting that corner.
Oh.
Ooh, takes number 11.
Yeah, I got the stride a little bit wrong, but the horse saved her.
And clears number 12.
So that was the 2 rails down, 14 penalties, and let's see if she has any time penalties to add to that. And she doesn't, so a score of 286 in her riding. I expect Lena is just dying for this day to be over. I could see how disheartened she was looking in the fence, and then the fencing bonus round, she didn't really look like she brought her A game to the competition there. So, but anyway, we're staying with Germany. The 2 athletes, the only 2 Germans that we have in today's final. Next is her teammate, Jenny Coleman, and she is riding Zermatt.
Positioned herself in number 22 with 16 victories and 19 defeats, and 277 points in the swim with 221. That positions her in 29th place, and overall she's in position number 27.
So Coleman was actually the athlete who made that mistake in Rome when she left before the bell went. So I'm sure she will have been
learned her lesson there.
Yeah,
hopefully
listening acutely to hear that bell before she started out on the riding
course. She looks very comfortable on the horse, even though she dropped that bar on number 2.
Again, quite a flighty looking horse. She's got her hands fairly high, but I think she's just trying to keep him listening to her hand, using her seat as much as she can. But you see there, just re-getting it, really actually having to sort of leverage slightly, and you could see the horse, the whites of his eyes as he came around the corner. And He just wants to go a little bit faster.
She cut that turn right there, and hopefully to save her some time.
There are a few options on the course for the athletes to take different routes, and it's interesting because it gives the athletes that option of how much they want to test their riding skill, test their horse.
When I was walking the course today, I found you know, two chances to cut those turns, and she took option number 1, and right now she's taking option number 2. So any turn that she could cut, she did, and she's heading into number 11.
11 to 12 seems to be riding quite nicely, that last.
Yeah,
that last
I thought it was going to be difficult, but apparently everybody's been riding that very comfortable, and she looked pretty good. I believe that she controlled those turns very, very well, and really gave the horse an opportunity to jump. Too bad for her bar number 2, but she finishes with a total of 293 points with no time penalties.
Yeah, she wasn't going to get any time penalties for those shortcuts.
Exactly.
I don't think. So that'll be another day but actually experience for the German pair. But we now move over to France as we welcome a very young athlete, Julie Bellamry.
Yeah, she. Also a very young athlete from France. I've seen her compete over the past years. She has been in my category, you could say. She finished 29th in the fence, 15 victories and 20 defeats, and 22nd in the swim with a time of 218.
So an athlete with a lot of potential. She has just been brought to this competition for experience. I was chatting to the performance director, Christian Redon.
She looks like she is just flying on that horse.
And this horse, I think, is a sort of horse that I would want to ride in a jump off. If you watch him jump, not.
You got to be very careful. You got to be very careful with that. Speed. But
he is clearing the jumps very quickly. So it's not just being fast on the course. He's actually very efficient over the fences. If you see, he doesn't waste any time in the air. He's over and back on the ground again. Look at that. He's just skipping over them, cutting it very fine, and if he's not careful...
If I were to ride a horse, I think it'd be that one.
Yeah, although she has already had one rail down, so paying for that efficiency. Overshot the corner there into those 2 fences, but...
She's just flying.
It looks like we're watching it on fast forward
exactly.
In the studio.
She's going to 10 A, B, and C.
And on the outside leg there, she comes around the left
Yeah, she needs to...
But the horse looking balanced, he'll sort it out himself. He's had to go back into trot, so just lost a little bit of forward flowing, and what a shame. She just seemed to not quite have control coming off the corner, and that's when you start riding for a fence. It's not when you get to the jump, it's the approach.
It's a poor approach and the time you have to control the horse and correct the horse on that turn before you approach the jump. Apparently...
What a shame. She was having such a good round, and that's 2 refusals at fence 11, so close to the end. And she's just now got to...
Apparently she took an extra turn there, and now she's heading into number 12, which is the last jump, and clears it.
That is a shame, because other than the fence 11, she seemed to have no problems at all, and just... So she had two refusals at 11, yeah, and then 1 pole down, but...
Not looking very happy on the horse after her ride.
But that would be frustrating. A very young athlete, though, so she would have gained plenty of experience from that. It's always something positive to take away from a day of 5 sports.
So she finishes with a total of 250 points.
And next we will be having an athlete who's come up through the youth ranks. Has won several youth medals.
Yeah, very Anastasia Spas from Ukraine. Finished 28th in the fencing with 15 victories and 20 defeats, and then a total of 290 points in 12th place in the swim with a time of 2:16.
And she had a very impressive start to her sort of pentathlon career as a junior, and she won a silver medal in 2012 and 2013 at the Junior World Championships. And then she made quite a significant start to the senior circuit, but it's slowed down a little bit. I think when she first burst onto the scene, everyone was a little unsure of her and the fencing, and she had that to her advantage, and she just needs to bring herself back together with the fence a little bit, I think, because she's still a very young athlete with a great...
Yeah, very young athlete. Much potential in everything she does, and especially in the youth and the junior, which we've heard a lot from her. But she still needs to get comfortable with the senior, and so far she's looking good on the course.
She's riding with very long reins, and it doesn't look in control, but she seems to be in control in some way. She's just had a pole down there, but the horse is going nicely for her, and she's not interfering, and that's very important when it comes to riding a horse you don't know. As soon as you start to interfere with them, they won't trust you, and that's when you lose your rhythm. And if you lose the trust, the horse won't be able to relax over the fence, and it's when you start seeing lots of rails go down. So she's also got her stirrups incredibly long, and that, to me, makes
her foot's well in there.
Makes her look uncomfortable to watch, but like we said, she's doing the job just about. And there we go, it's over number 12 clear, so just the one rail down for Anastasia Spas of Ukraine. She was riding Pasian. That's always nice to see the riders.
Sometimes I believe in modern pentathlon, just to get, across that, the course, sometimes, you just got to be a little bit out of control for the horse to pass. Sometimes, having the best technique is maybe not the option.
Well, there's no points for star when it comes to modern pentathlon.
Exactly.
We see good examples of that throughout the day.
Which I believe is very important also. She finishes with 293 points in total for the riding event.
So we just see coming into the arena and the warm-up. Warm-up arena literally next door to the main arena. It is Korea's Mina Jeong, and she is riding Jagalo. Not Gigolo, but Jagalo.
Jagalo. Mina Jeong finished 26th place in the fence with 16 victories and 19 defeats, 290 points in 12th place with a time of 2:16 in the swim.
So the Korean athletes haven't had any significant results yet this season.
Oh my.
And again, looking like she's having to do the best she can to control her horse Jagalo, as he's looking very keen. These horses look like they just want to go out there and have fun and just enjoy jumping, and it's really nice to see this.
So far, the horse seems cooperating with her after jump number 4.
The Korean athletes, well, the Asian athletes generally are that little bit smaller than the Western athletes, and sometimes in a riding that can prove, especially if you've got a strong horse like that, just means they've got to work that little bit harder.
Yeah.
But Mina Jeong of Korea doing a good job so far.
Yeah, she's approaching jump number 7, which she cleared. Clears number 8.
Just the last few fences, and this is where it gets a bit tricky again. On the corners, it'll be interesting to see what route she takes after the treble.
There's 1 bar on 10B.
So just through 7 points away, but
just taking a long way around, approaching jump number 11.
Got in close to 12, but it rode nicely, and she made that a flowing round. You can just see there, though, as she's trying to bring him back to a trot and a walk, that really having to be quite strong. But again, thanking the horse, and that's lovely to see. So we've not seen anything too disastrous, and it's like I was talking about earlier, the problems we have seen, it really has been down to ride error. So score of 287. I think there must have been,
I'm not sure
a second pole, or that's a few time faults.
I think it'd be a few time faults, because
that wouldn't make a.
That wouldn't make 286. So I mean, that's 6 seconds.
So it's surprising how many time faults she had there.
And she looked pretty fast too. I mean, I'm pretty surprised also that she had.
I think it's just like you said earlier, Charles, with the difference of cutting between those fences and the line that the rider chooses to take. And she went for the longer, smoother route, and it looked like she was moving fast. But obviously the time is relatively tight.
Time doesn't lie.
So now it is our first Hungarian athlete into the riding arena, and I expect the audience are going to go very quiet as they
Very
watch.
young athlete.
Is Rebecca Ormandy riding Hella.
Rebecca is, she had 196 points total in the fence, 25th place with 16 victories and 19 defeats. In the swim, she finished with 290 points in 12th place with a time of 2:16.
So Hungary hosting this World Cup here in Kecskemét meant that they actually entered 12 girls into the semi-final, and 5 of those, I think I'm right in saying, have qualified into the final. So this young athlete, Ormandy, has grabbed this opportunity and really made the most of it by qualifying for the final, getting to ride in front of a home crowd. A great experience to have at such a young age and early stage in her pentathlon career. And she'll have the advantage of being familiar with the surroundings, possibly even familiar with some of the horses, whether she has ridden this one, but just got a little bit unbalanced there and took fence number 7 down. I'm hoping on the on air you can't actually hear, my tummy's making very strange noises.
So far she clears the triple and now heads to jump number 11.
So just 2 left to go.
She's looking good so far, I mean.
Yeah, horse naturally changed leg for her on the corner, but it just decided to change back again there. The horses, it's their way of naturally balancing themselves, but a nice... Oh! Oh!
And
wow, that would be acrobatics. Oh, she didn't quite manage to. For a moment, I thought she was going to get back on the saddle. That would have been incredible if she had. I was just about to say she'd had a nice approach into 12, and maybe she thought the same and just relaxed that little bit too much. I'm not quite sure.
I saw the horse put an extra stride in there right before the jump, which caused it to stop.
She just didn't. I think she just started to presume he was going and maybe stopped riding quite as strongly as she had been. But
I think that's a mistake I do sometimes, to presume that the horse will, automatically jump the jump, and well, at the end the result isn't, the jump, but a refusal. But so far she looks okay, and she's back on that horse, and hopefully will finish the course with her last jump on number 12.
She's gone for a very short oh no, and that will be the bell being rung. 2 falls as elimination. That was such a shame. She just really didn't make the most of the time, because the bell is rung when the jump is knocked down like that. So she would have had plenty of time in which to
regain the horse
herself.
and everything. Like I said previously, I think it's very important to put the horse back in its place, put it in a comfortable position to reapproach that jump in order to clear it again. But apparently
she just didn't. She could have used that time to circle and really get herself back together, but she just didn't use the circle of the approach, and she just came in from a trot. Not enough impulsion. Not enough strength in the riding, but a very young athlete, like you say. And sadly, a score of 0 in the ride. She'll be starting at the very back of the combined, but nothing to lose here for her, apart from maybe a little bit of pride in front of her home fans.
No, I think home fans are very proud of her, and her coaches are too. For her being this young and into the final, I think it's a great accomplishment, especially on this world level.
But we stay again with Hungary. That's our second of the 5 Hungarian athletes into the final. And now we're going to a much more experienced athlete, Sarolta Kovach, and she's riding Fenton.
Sarolta finished in the fence with a total of 180 points, 13 victories and 22 defeats, which positioned herself in the number 32. And in the swim, she got 3rd place with total points of 308 and a time of 2:10. Which positions her in number 22.
Yeah, a very strong swim from Kovach, but really not her day in the fencing. She's a strong fencer, and it's very unusual to see her in the first half of the draw. Just saw a fence go down there, but I know she'll be very upset with this morning's fencing, especially as today we swam. The athletes did the swimming first and then the riding, so she was starting the day in 3rd place and has dropped all the way down after the fence. And with the home crowd to help her on, I think she was feeling really positive for the semi-final. She's looking good. Her running's improved a lot because she finished in the top 10 in Rome and has had a chance to work a little bit
Well,
more
it's
on
a
her
very,
running.
very experienced athlete, and we know that she is not wishing anything bad, but still trying to struggle through today. Apparently, she will regain herself on the horse and finish the course clean. And she jumps and clears the triple, and she will be taking that turn.
So I did think the wall might have caused a few problems, but so far no knockdowns at that fence, and clear over 12 as well for Kovach. That's just the one rail down, and she will be happy with that, even though it's not maybe today's not going her way. She'll still be happy having a good
from Hungary on a
and it will help her move up a little bit with the rankings as well. So there was that fence 4, the only one to go down. The Hungarian athlete, a much better round than her teammate earlier, and that's just experience showing there.
So no time penalties for Sarolta. I think it was also because of that cut on that turn right there, but she finished with 1 knockdown and a total of 293 points in the ride.
So now we are up to the next athlete, Italy's Lavinia Venezia, and she's riding Sikikita.
She actually had a great fence, positioning herself in 3rd place in the fencing event with a total of 23 victories and 12 defeats. Now the swimming, on the contrary, didn't go too well for her, positioning herself in number 35 with points of 253 and a time of 229.
That really has, especially the way the swim has improved so much. If you're swimming a 229, you need to have some exceptional fence and combined event, because she's got a lot of ground to make up, even with such a strong fence she had this morning. But it means that we're getting into the closer part now. As coming with those points, it will start to get a little bit tighter at the top end, and this is where those poles, which earlier on haven't made that much difference, will start to all count for very valuable points.
So far, that horse is looking comfortable, and she is just riding it the way she likes, and so far she has a clear course.
So she's wearing the military uniform, as most of the Italian squad are military or police, and they are funded through that, so they get the chance to train full-time. Oh, she was lucky there.
Oh my word.
Got in close, didn't quite sit up and ride it well enough, but the horse managed to just about pick his feet up enough and just rattled the rail, but it stayed in place. Again, rattled the last part of the triple, 10C, but seems to be that luck is on the side of Lavinia de Venezia.
She goes behind jump number 3 to approach 11. Clears 11, approaches number 12, and clears number 12. Oh no, she dropped that last bar, number 12.
Curse there.
Oh my word, but after all those bars, I believe that at least 1 bar needed to go down.
Yeah, her luck just ran out, I think, by the final fence. Oh, and we missed that
2
one.
bars, we missed 2 bars.
There you go, we've been
2 bars in total.
We've been told. So, one time fault by the looks of it with a score of 285. So that's probably the difference of going around fence number 3 again. In the grand scheme, an acceptable ride, but so we are having a few clears. Later on, I think we'll be seeing some more. I know we've only actually had 2 clear rounds so far, and they were right at the beginning. But we've had a few of the weaker riders come in, and I think we'll see those horses go clear later. So we're back with Hungary again, another home athlete. It is Anna Toth on Carlos.
Yeah, Anna is a youth Olympic athlete, actually, competing in Nanjing the previous year. She's a very, very young athlete. Finished the fence in 20th place with 17 victories and 18 defeats, and swam position number 18 with a total of 289 points and a time of 2:17.
And, oh, that's a refusal at fence number 3. And I was just about to say, she was not looking convincing over the first 2 fences, especially fence number 1. And now she's just looking to the judges to see if she's knocked the fence down, if they're going to rebuild it.
I don't think I saw anything knocked down, but...
she's looking for some confirmation from somewhere, and we can't hear the bell here in our little truck, but I'm sure she will be aware of what's going on out there. So looks like she's approaching fence 3 again. It's her second approach at this fence and clear on the second time. So maybe that's given her a realization that she needs to ride a little bit more positively. He's still looking a bit sticky. So over 12 there, it looked like she needed a little bit more energy. And
she cuts that turn right there and heading into number 5, and there's a result of cutting there. I mean, I believe if you're going to cut the turn, it's very important to maintain control of the horse and make sure you're sit down properly and make sure that horse gets that turn correctly, because if not, the result would be a bar or even a refusal at most cases, and we'll see how the horse turns out.
Oh, and I was going to say, she wasn't straight coming into the first part of that fence, and as a result, lost her line into the second part. So she's now moved on, but she's had 3 refusals, so she only has 1 refusal left, and if she does have another, then sadly that will be the end of her round. So let's hope she can get over the last few fences.
So far, I feel like she's pushing the horse to get over those fences, because I think she's aware that 1 more refusal will eliminate her. But so far, she is cleared 10A, B, and C, and is now heading into jump number 11. She cuts that corner.
I think this could be an error. Yes.
Oh.
She's trying to ride as though she's very skilled with the cutting the corners, but it doesn't pay off. You'd be better off having a few times.
I think it takes a lot of experience.
And that's a shame. I just see her hitting the horse, and I don't like to see that, because that was purely rider error. There was no chance the horse. The horse was not, in his mind, approached to the fence, and you can see over fence number 1 how sticky it was. She was just not riding forwards, and her leg wasn't even touching his sides as she approached that fence. So. And this one, look at the line of that. I mean, the horse was not going to jump when she's not coming in straight. So real shame, but I think hopefully a lesson learned for Anna Toth of Hungary, that she needs to have a few more riding lessons.
Yes, and next we have Chloe Esposito from Australia. Chloe finished the fence with 16 victories and 19 defeats in 24th place, but had a very, very good swim, positioning herself in 6th with a time of 2:14.
Now, we haven't seen Chloe compete until this season for a couple of years, since London. It was good to see her back on form in Cairo, and she's just had her first rail down. I mean, Chloe is a very strong combined athlete, but she would still like to be seeing herself in the top half of the riding draw. But she does actually, she's home from home here. She might be an Australian athlete, but she's actually changed base, and her brother and family have moved over. Oh, another pole goes down, over to Budapest to train full time. So instead of having a 24-hour flight to go home, she probably just has 1-hour drive.
Yeah, I believe that Chloe has been struggling in the previous years with an injury, if I'm not wrong, which has not, made her compete at what she wanted to compete, which is, world-class level. But apparently, after coming back this year, I feel like she's been doing she's been doing well so far. Just getting him back into the modern pentathlon world and the World Cups, and we'll see how she finishes the rest of the course.
So it was 2 rails down early on, but the rest are standing with just 2 fences left to go. She's taking the shorter route. She's riding with quite long reins, and maybe it doesn't look as controlled as it is, but she seems to be good. So far and clear over the last few fences, so just the 2 rails down, and I expect inside the time as she took that shorter route into fence number 11. So a smile there for Esposito, a brief one, but
just glad that she finished that.
Yeah, she can't be too disappointed with that. She knows that into fence 4, she just didn't set the horse up with the appropriate approach, but she paid for that. So yeah, 286 points for Esposito, just the 2 rails down. And I think she's still getting fit as the season goes on. She said she needs competition to get fit, get back into competing in pentathlon. So now we're actually straight into the 2nd round.
Very surprised, actually.
So no gap in this, and we are now back with the same horses we've seen already. And number 18, number 19 to go. In the top 18, it's from France, Anaï Oud.
And I finished fencing in 19th place with 18 victories and 17 defeats, 21 in the swim with a total of 287 points and a time of 2:17.
So Inez is actually an athlete who's been around for many years. She's had what I thought was a bit of time out, but apparently she's just not been on form enough to be selected for the French team. But speaking to the performance director, she is now back in business, and it's good to see her reaching the final at this World Cup number 4.
Horse put an extra stride there and apparently knocked down number 4. She cuts that turn right there and heads straight into 5AB. Clears number 6.
And these fences 7 and 8 are 2 separate fences, but they are related in distance. And you see there she approached 7 nicely, and it meant that she met fence 8 on an equally nice stride.
Now heading into the triple. Clears 10, A, B, and C. We'll see if she'll take this turn right here. Nope, and apparently she goes behind number 3, heading into number 11. Jumps 11 very well. Heads into 12 to finish the course, and finishes.
Yeah, a nice round for Aneu. France. She was riding Avatar, and we saw Avatar go the very first horse in the riding, and he only had 1 pole down with Kecskemét of Lithuania, so obviously a horse that made life easy for the riders today and giving a strong score of 289. So interestingly, a few time faults there, 4 time penalties, and I didn't see that coming, I must admit.
I believe that she was going a little bit slower than usual, even though she cut the first, she cut that first turn. But at least she cleared this course with 1 bar, and she looked pretty comfortable. But now we will have Korea.
So next into, I think you just skipped one, Charles. I think we're to Japan next.
Japan.
Similar part of the world,
I'm
but
sorry.
It is Japan. Narumi Kuroso riding Arpad. And Arpad is a horse we didn't actually see earlier, because the Turkish athlete Oszundi was supposed to be riding him, and she didn't actually come into the riding arena. So this will be the first time in the ride for the horse Arpad with Kuroso.
Narumi finished 16th place in the fence with 18 victories and 17 defeats. 22nd in the swim with 286 points and a time of 2:18.
Now this horse looks very big and long, but it could just be because the Japanese athlete is on the small side, 2 rails down already for Kuroso. And I think she's just struggling to have much of an effect on such a big horse.
That is a big horse.
It'll be interesting. We'll probably see one of the men with long legs riding him tomorrow and think it looks like a pony.
Yeah, I mean, in the stables, I was looking at the horses, and they were pretty big horses. I mean, some of the biggest horses I've ever seen out there, and I was really surprised to see that horses could get so big. I mean, I was even comparing them to camels.
You just ride
they were just big.
Don't you just ride ponies in Guatemala, though, like polo ponies and things?
Exactly.
They're not so used to these proper horses they've got here in Hungary. You can see there a good use of her leg. You can really see as she's coming towards us that she's having to kick the horse and tell him that, you know, don't forget I'm on top here, we're going forwards, and he seems to be listening to her.
Yeah, she seems to have regained control of the horse and comfortably passing every single obstacle from now on. Clears 10, A, B, and C, and now is going to head into obstacle number 11.
Just had a slight deviation on the approach, but she kept her leg on and told him that she meant business, and I think maybe kept her leg on slightly too much and just didn't ride that final corner. So close.
I just believe she let him go a little bit too early. And clears 12.
She'll be frustrated with that, because until then, just a couple of rails.
It was Narumi Kuroso from Japan.
Rider area. She just relaxed slightly too much and forgot to sit back after 11 and let the horse run on a little bit, and he just didn't really have a chance to see the fence and know what was expected of him. So score of 254 for Narumi Kuroso of Japan. There we go. Seeing it again in slow motion.
So now, if I'm not wrong, we will have Korea.
Go with it.
We will have Sunwoo Kim from Korea. Sunwoo finished the fence in 12th place with 19 victories and 16 defeats, positioning her in the swim with a position of 28 and points of 280 and a time of 220. Right now, Sunwoo is in 16th place overall.
So, Sunwoo Kim of Korea riding Casino. We saw Casino score one of the only 2 clear rounds that we've seen today.
She is just flying.
It'll be interesting to see if this horse can add another clear round to his record. So he was ridden by Heidi Morsey in the first round. She had a nice round of 300 points. And she did look, Heidi Morsey did make this horse look like he was strong, but it looks as though Sunwoo Kim is struggling even more to control him, and she's really having to work hard. She's overshot the line into the double. She's managed to regather him, but not quite enough. Took the second part of the double down. That's another 7 penalties, an expensive 7 points as you get into the second round of the riding. So related distances. Yeah,
extra stride in there.
She's just getting not enough control, and it's okay for the separate fences. Just slipped slightly on the corner. We've had quite a bit of rain this morning, and the riders will need to respect that the grass could be a little bit more slippery than it might have been yesterday.
Yeah, but at least it cleared up a bit in the afternoon, which was I was pretty happy about that.
Yeah, I think we'd be okay standing here, but the athletes, it wouldn't be too nice.
Exactly.
Add in the rain. We've had rain all morning.
No, it'd be very uncomfortable, especially I don't know, especially with the horses out on that, out on the grass. I mean, if that grass was wet, I'd be really hesitated to really push a horse into those turns. And well, at least she cleared the course with 2 faults, 2 bars at least, a total of 14 points. And we'll see if she has any time penalties, and she doesn't. So she finishes the course with a total of 286 points.
So just seeing the replay once more. The athletes will be using this, I'm sure, to analyse once they get home and seeing what they can learn from their performance.
Yeah, it's the beauty of having all this technology and the cameras around, where you have the best footage and the best views to see your faults and learn from them.
So next into the arena, it is Great Britain's Francesca Summers riding Londi. And Londi was the only other horse that had a clear round. So it'll be interesting to see if Summers can produce the same clear that the Italian Lontano did in the earlier round.
Summers finished 8th place in the fence with 21 victories and 14 defeats, and swam in 33rd place with 271 points in total and a time of 2:23. Also a very, very young athlete, a very experienced one too, and I believe she's a very...
Maybe not quite so experienced in the riding.
Maybe not so much experience in the riding, but I mean,
she's had 1 rail down, but it's not looking tidy. Yes, style doesn't go for points, but she's not managing to control the horse as much as she would like at this stage. Her reign's very long, and you can just see her trying to regather them all the time, and as a result, she hasn't quite managed to, and her hands end up being very high and towards her body. But she's using the corners to the best of her ability to ride them fully and get the best approach that she can. So she's... You can see riding in a jacket over the top of her jacket, and that's actually to protect her body just in case she falls off. So she's obviously not as confident as some of the more experienced athletes, but that's expected at this early stage of her career. She's still a junior athlete. She did actually win. She had a great season last year and won the silver medal at the Youth Olympic Games in Nanjing. No riding in that competition. It is just a tetrathlon, so it's the same as what we see in the semi-final. And obviously the riding is something that she's going to be working very hard on, but she seems to have recovered it well after a slightly messy-looking start and a great round, just the 1 rail at the end of that.
I don't believe there would be any time penalties, but I could be...
It was Francesca Summers from Great.
She had 2 rails down, it must be, with a score of 282, because I can't imagine she had that many time penalties. So I think that's 4 time penalties and 2 rails down. We must have knocked just out of our picture from what we can see. We're getting the same images as you are on your screens at home. But still a very respectable score for the young British athlete. And now It is athlete representing Russia, Alice Fakhrudinova, and she is riding Henry. And we saw Henry get ridden by Tamara Vega of Mexico earlier with just the 2 rails down, so it'll be interesting to see if Fakhrudinova can do anything better.
Yeah, Alice is in position number 14 overall, 13th place in the fence with 19 victories and 16 defeats. And in the swim, finished 22nd with a total points of 286 and a time of 2:18.
So the riding, not a favourite of the Russian athletes, but it's something that they work, especially the girls, have worked very hard on. And Fakhrudinova looking nice. She's giving a lot of rein over the fence, which means the horse can be allowed to relax and curve over the jump, and allowing him to hopefully not knock any poles down. But that was unlucky.
A late bar.
That
was a late bar.
That rail stayed and just decided, no, I'm not going to be on your side. So a little frustrating for her, but hopefully it's not put her off her round. She's looking nicely controlled. She comes into 7 and 8. A lot of concentration on her face. Just 3
I believe
fences.
at this point there has to be a lot of concentration, a lot of control, because I mean being in 14th place in the final gives an athlete, especially if you can run and shoot.
Yeah, now you just saw that rail go down as 10C, and that was rider error. She gave him a smack on the shoulder, lost her balance slightly, and just the horse didn't quite have time to react and knock the rail in the final part. But just the 2 rails from what we saw here, I must say, in case we missed one again. But she should be
Alice
with that, I think. It'll
Fakhrudinova.
depend on what comes next, but she's giving her horse a pass and definitely can't be too disappointed with her round as that one. We've only seen 2 clears all day. So just 1 time penalty for the Russian athlete.
Yes, she finished with a total of 285 points.
So into the arena next will be the Polish athlete. There we see her now, Oktavia Nowaska, also wearing a back protector. Now, I haven't had a chance to speak to her out here, but Nowaska was telling me the last World Cup in Rome, she was in a great position going into the ride, but was really worried. She's had some problems with her back. And apparently it's riding that she finds the most difficult as a result, and just her back muscles seem to spasm up. So she got through the round in Rome and was delighted just to get through that. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, riding is a very, very tough sport, especially on the back. I personally suffer with a little bit of back pain and back tension after the ride, but I think it's just all part of the sport, and you just gotta know how to get through it. And
well, Nowaska's obviously knows how to. Oh, there we go with 1 rail at the first part of the double, but clear at the second. She last year was the winner of World Cup final, but had a terrible start to the season. And the World Cup final was in Sarasota. The first World Cup of this year was in Sarasota, and she didn't even make the final. So it's been a little bit of comeback time. But she was top 6 in the last World Cup in Rome, and it looks like she's back in business now in the top half of the draw in the ride. She's a strong runner, so we're sure if she gets around this riding, could well move up a few places.
yeah, she had a very solid fence with 18 victories and 17 defeats, positioning herself in 17th place. And she swam 10th place with a time of 2:15. And right now she will be finishing her riding course and heads into 11, and now is approaching obstacle number 12. And gets a little bit too close to that.
Yeah, she just cut that corner slightly, I think. Didn't quite give enough time to get the right stride and in a little bit close, and the front rail went to 12. So 2 rails down for Oktavia Nowaska of Poland. Oh, hang on a minute. There we go, they just corrected it. I think we're ahead of them now, so score of 286, giving her a total of 788. Yeah, she knew that one went down, just looking back over her shoulder. Will be frustrated with that final fence. You think you're there, you're not quite. So next, it is representing Russia, Anna Burliak, riding Bobby.
Anna finished 11th place in the fencing with a total of 19 victories and 16 defeats. Finished 20th in the swimming with 288 points and a time of 2:17.
So Brodek is riding the same horse that Kate French had, and it looked very strong with Kate, so it'll be interesting to see how the Russian athlete manages with this one.
I believe she has to gain a little bit more control of the horse. Because hasn't jumped number 1 and number 2 very comfortable.
Got in close to 4, but I think a horse, when it's this fast, it's almost better if it gets a little bit closer. It naturally slows the pace up, and if you end up on a long stride, you can end up finding it even harder to bring the horse back and get control again afterwards. Got him really close to that one. That was a little bit too extreme, I think, especially for a spread like that fence was, with the bar, second bar behind. You need to have enough forward motion to get over both parts of the fence. Nicely through 7 and 8. She was set up well by the first fence, and
jump number 9 comfortable. Heading into the triple.
She needs to just sit up a little bit here because it could get, but she got away with it. It looked like it was going to be too close to the final part, but.
And she takes this corner. We'll see how she finishes jump 11 and 12.
Oh my goodness. Wow, that was scary.
She clears number 12.
Well, that was scary to watch from this point of view. She almost looked like she took out a stride, and wow, she took the corner, and I think
she is just panting.
I'd love to see a replay of that. I think maybe if we're lucky, we're going to see another replay of the final fence, because she looked like she was aiming for the wing. But that was an incredible score of 300. Only our 3rd clear of the day for Anna Brodek of Russia. And sadly, we're not going to see it. So now we are with Japan. Reina Shimazu riding Admiralis.
Reina finished fencing with a total of 18 victories and 17 defeats, but had a great swim in 5th place with a time of 2:13 and a total of 299 points.
So Shimazu will be hoping to better her teammate who had 2 poles down earlier. Caruso, we saw it also in the second round.
Ooh, and 1 refusal starting the course, and hopefully she'll be able to regain the horse again and clear jump number 1.
First refusal we've seen at the first fence, and it's not a good start to your round if you're having a stop there.
No, it's not. I think if you start the course wrong, it affects the horse for the rest of the course.
Now, Admiralis, actually, just seen the horse she's on, was ridden by her teammate who got eliminated after 4 refusals. Now, she's over fence 2 the second time, but I think she's either going to run out of time or have 2 more refusals.
She really has to pick up the pace on that horse and control it better. I'm not sure why she was going to
look at her
11.
reins there. She just has no control. Her reins are far too long. She's got no seat, and she's really struggling to get the horse together to approach fence 3. But she's there. Whether she'll get counted as a refusal, because she did cross her tracks before the fence, but it'll be the judge's decision as to whether that was on the approach or not. But this is definitely a refusal. So that's number 3, potentially number 4 if we hear the bell. Looks like she's going around to approach again, so that is just 3 refusals. I don't think she's going to get around this course, so it's just a matter of time as to how many she has. And wow, she's through there. Don't think any poles matter at this stage. Such a riding score, and sadly that is goodbye to Shimazu, Reina Shimazu of Japan, 4 refusals. She's gone the same way as her teammate, and I think the Japanese athletes need to work on their riding a little bit before they come to another senior A-grade competition.
Yeah, it's sad when you get eliminated at such a high position, but I mean, at the end, pentathlon is pentathlon, anything can happen, and well, sports. So now we'll just head into the next athlete, with this Soo Jin from Korea.
I'm enjoying this riding actually, because we've had a handful of clear rounds and we've had lots of rounds with just 1 or 2 poles, and those who've had the problems, the disasters, none of them have been from bad horses. It's been very obviously bad riding, and that's to get a field of horses that actually will show the good riders and the not so good riders is quite a challenge for the organisers, and they've done a great
Yeah,
job
I believe there's
horses.
no bad horses in this competition. And I was looking on the live feed to Rome also. I mean, I doubt there was any bad horses there either, but it also tested the abilities of each rider. And well,
so now we've got Sujin Yang of Korea riding Cecil. We saw Cecil get ridden by Elimination with just 2 rails down earlier, so the Korean athlete will have watched that round and will be hoping to replicate it, if not go one better.
yeah, Sujin had a pretty good fence with 20 victories and 15 defeats, positioning herself in 10th place in the fence. And in the swim, 12th place with a total of 290 points and with a time of 2:16.
She seems to be riding nicely so far, not interfering with the horse.
Not at all, just accompanying it and make sure it goes on the right track. And she will be cutting this corner. Save some time there and see how she approaches 11. Approaches 11 great. I believe she has to hold that horse a little bit and clears 12.
Well, she was certainly not hanging back between 11 and 12, but didn't have any problems with that. I think she's...
Ladies and gentlemen, it was representing...
Yes, she should be.
Yeah, especially at this position in the competition, I believe, you know, a good ride is something to be happy about.
Yeah, so we're seeing a few more clear rounds, so that was confirmed 300 points for Yang of Korea. That's 2 clears in the second round, and we had 2 clears early on in the first round. So the riding standard on the whole should get a little bit higher as we reach the second round with the more experienced athletes who have had more experience at riding in the finals and reaching World Cup. But now, talking of experienced athletes, we have one of probably the highest ranked athlete in the field today, Samantha Mory of Great Britain. She won the World Championships last year, reigning world champion, and we've only seen her compete at one World Cup this year, and that was Sarasota, the first one, where she came out flying and took the title there, and she's still very much in threat of definitely medaling, and if she can keep her head together in the shoot, she could actually end up taking the title again here, because she had such a strong swim earlier.
Yeah, from this point on, I mean, the athletes are very, very strong. Didn't really have a very solid fence. She finished in 23rd place with 16 victories and 19 defeats, but man, did she swim first place with a total of 314 points and a time of 2:08.
But it looks like it's going to be a great round for Mory, and
oh,
that
she
is
passes
clear.
number
so
12, and I bet she's pretty happy now. And
that's going to move her. Well, it's not going to move her up. It's going to see what happens after her, but she'll be happy with
Ladies and
it.
gentlemen,
She's got such a strong run at the moment. She's very physically fit, as we saw in the pool, swimming the fastest time she swam since the London Games, and she's in good shape. Had that not been in the last 2 competitions, used the time out to get her head down and get some serious training in.
yeah, it's a great ride for her. I'm pretty happy.
So it sounds like the crowd are getting excited as we have another Hungarian athlete into the arena. It is Sofia Fordasi, and she's riding Sidor.
Sofia finished fencing with 18 victories and 17 defeats, and swam very well in 4th place with 303 points and a time of 2:12. Sofia is very, very experienced and has a very good results in the previous competitions in youth and junior, and well, now in the senior level competition, which she did very, very, very well in Rome.
Yeah, so winning her first World Cup medal in Rome, she was ecstatic with that silver, and a great confidence boost to come into her home World Cup.
Yeah, she had a very tough semifinal. She started the combined event in 20th place.
And I spoke to her just beforehand, and she was looking very nervous, but I think anyone who supports her knows that, believed in her strong combined, that she would be able to eat up that space between her and 8th place.
And that's what she did.
She did it pretty comfortably. So this is good so far, and if Fordasi can get around this right, she's another threat for the podium. Just 3 fences left to go, coming into the triple, fence 10. She's riding very nicely, sitting quietly, doing all she has to do 2 fences left to go. Taking the inside corner into 11. Just getting a little bit fast into 11. She's a sit up now and ride that corner well into 12.
Beautiful.
Met it on a perfect ride. You can hear the crowd. We can just about hear them over our headphones. They would be delighted, but not as delighted as Foldasi herself. Look at that beaming smile. Another 300. So that's just, we've just seen 3 clears in a row. That proves the difference between the first and second round. The standard of the riding has so much improved. These athletes really are at the top of their game. And
yeah, I believe it's going to be a very exciting final in the combined, and I'm looking forward to see the fight between all these girls here, the final 10 at least, and so it's very good for Sofia Foldasi, and now we are going to head in with the next athlete, Mory Oesa from France. Mory finished 9th in the fence with 20 victories and 15 defeats, and 9th in the swim with 294 points and a time of 2:15.
Now, Mory Oesa is definitely one to watch. She's had some great starts in Cairo. She actually started, I think it was in silver medal position going into the combined, and just, she's still a young athlete, and it's the fact of competing in a semi-final just 2 days before, and that goes down 1 rail for Oesa, semi-final, and then having to come back and compete in the final 2 days later. When it gets to the combined, she just doesn't quite have enough in the tank yet, but that's understandable at a young age, and it's not unusual to see. But it's something that you can't teach. The athletes will just learn that from competing the next season.
Yeah.
She'll do this whole season and she'll learn so much from this, and she'll need a really good break. She'll come back so much stronger next year, I'm sure. Looking good so far. Just that 1 pole early on. She'll be hoping that she can keep it together right the way to the end, unlike her teammate who failed at the final fence. Oh, there's another rail, just got a little bit flat over fence 9.
Trying to regain her reins going into 10A, B, and C.
Lucky at the final part of
Tips
10.
that C bar, exactly.
It was wondering if it's going to go, but it stayed. Now going the wider line into 11. And she's to sit up here into 12. Good line. And 12 stays. So I think that's just 2 poles down for the French athlete.
Mory Oesa from France on a horse.
That's confirmed. You'll see the scores in a moment, as we are seeing in front of us, but confirmed a score of 286. So no time penalties, just the 2 rails down for Mory Oesa of France. And I think she'll be happy with that, putting herself in the top few again going into the combined. But now
Next
we
rider
are
is
about to move into the top 6 athletes after the swim, the fencing, and the bonus fencing that we've had so far today. And it's an athlete we've not seen yet this season. Mari Spence of Great Britain riding Jagallo. Mari, we haven't actually seen perform since the World Championships, where she didn't make the final last year, but she is world champion from 2012, so she's taking a little bit of time to find her form again after the Olympic year.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's an athlete with much experience. Finished 6th place in the fence, didn't start out too well today, but was able to regain herself with 22 victories and 13 defeats, and also swam very well in 12th position, 290 points in total with a time of 2:16.
Oh, there goes a rail, just the first part of the double. Mari didn't seem to be quite as straight as she needed to be coming into that double part, but she is a very strong rider. You can see, looking to the next fence, riding the corners, riding her lines very nicely.
Just holding that horse back and checking it after every jump, and apparently it's looking well for her, especially heading into...
Oh, and that looked a little bit painful. Mari got the stride a bit wrong, went on a longer one, but she's experienced enough that she won't interfere with the horse when that happens, so the horse will remain confident.
Tips bar B, but clears 10 A, B, and C, and now heading into 11. Takes that corner, clears 11, and clears 12.
Back over her shoulder, checking that fence 12 and stayed. and she'll be happy with that.
France from Great Britain on a
At the moment,
horse.
this is going to be her strongest. She knows she's not back into full competition shape, but she's really shown.
I believe she's a fighter also. I mean, I saw her compete in the qualifications, and even though she was struggling, she was getting through it, and
A few time penalties there, actually. Three
Really?
time penalties for Mory. And I did see she did ride her corners very deeply, so if I got that right. Yeah, no, sorry, my maths is wrong. No time penalties, scored 293. Thanks, Charles, for keeping me straight.
no problem.
Yeah, I need to sort my maths out.
So now we're going to go into top 5 with Natalia Rymzhanova from Russia. First in the fence with 24 victories, 11 defeats, and 29th in a swim with 277 points and a time of 2:21.
And Rymzhanova coming off the back of a successful World Cup #3 in Rome, where she, I think I just
She
saw
dropped that bar, yes.
second pole go down. She won a bronze medal in Rome, and it's good to see her back on the podium, but maybe today we're not going to again. Refusal at fence 3. She just looked like she was not riding as positively as she needs to. And again, now this horse, she is riding Hella, and Hella actually got eliminated with the Hungarian athlete Oszundi earlier. And Rymzhanova has definitely learned how to ride through pentathlon. When she first started riding, she admits that she used to be so nervous.
Get that horse going, but sorry.
Yeah, it's I don't think Donata's going to get around this course, which is such a shame because she's in good running shape now, and was having a good day. Such a good fence. Gave the horse a big smack behind her leg, and I think it's too late. She's had 3 refusals, 1 pole down. She's out of any, even with a strong combined. Donata Rymzhanova has seen any chance of medal success slip away, and that is the final refusal. Such a shame for Donata Rymzhanova of Russia. And that horse, I don't think we'll be seeing him again tomorrow. But those athletes...
Hopefully not.
Yeah, those athletes lower down the ranking. Charles, you'll be hoping you're not on that one, won't you?
I'm hoping I won't be.
Those athletes lower down the ranking will be sort of ticking that one off and saying, well, we've moved up another place. And that's sadly, not sadly, that's just how
sad for
brutal,
such an athlete in a good position,
pentathlon
yes.
can be.
Yeah, anything can happen in this sport, and well, hasn't been a very good day for Russia, but now we have from USA, Margot Saxon, position number 4. Margot finished the fence in 5th place with 22 victories and 13 defeats. Didn't have a very good start, pretty much brought herself up in the middle and then fell back down again at the end, but was able to maintain herself in the fence. And 11th place in the swimming with 292 points and a time of 2:16. So hopefully we'll see Margot ride well in this course, and she's approaching jump number 1.
Now Margot, out of the 2 World Cups she's competed in, she's won a silver medal at both, and she'll be looking to see if she can get the curse of the silver medal off her back and actually top the podium here today. She's put herself in a reasonably good chance, but didn't have a great start to the fence, and then really pulled herself together and came back strong, and as we see now, to be in 4th place.
She looks flying on that horse, but very comfortable.
With such a strong run, if she starts in 4th place, she puts herself in great contention. It's just whether she can hold it together in the shooting. She's been struggling a little bit with the psychology side of the shoot, and just sometimes under pressure can lose it. So
she had a great season this year. Really did well in Sarasota and also in Egypt, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, she missed the Rome World Cup to focus on some training, had a little bit of a niggle injury to sort out. She's back in good form again today. But clear so far with just 2
really
fences
accompanying
left
that horse, and she has 2, and she is going to take that turn. Ooh, really
got in close to the wall.
Yeah.
11 hasn't actually gone with anybody, and
I have personally never seen a jump like 11 in pentathlon, which is a first for me.
Wow.
I've never seen a wall in pentathlon.
Ladies and
I mean,
gentlemen,
I haven't competed much in the senior world level,
you'll
but
soon see a few more, I think. But anyway, a great ride for Margot Saxon. Score of 300 and no time penalties. She'll be delighted with that, and she now knows that it's just up to her and her head between a medal and quite likely between that gold medal. She's put herself in a great starting position. So we're into the top 3 in just a moment, once we've seen this replay. But Saxon was just saying that she's not really feeling the real fight, but she'll need that when it comes to combine with some great combined athletes starting just behind her. But now the crowd are going wild for our highest placed Hungarian athlete of the day, Tamara Alexiev, riding Sikikita.
Yeah, Tamara finished 4th in the fence with 23 victories and 12 defeats, and swam a position of 18 with 289 points and a time of 2:17.
So we've seen some mixed bag from the Hungarian riding. Already one pole down there for Alexiev, and not as strong a combined athlete as Saxon, who was hot on her heels, so she cannot afford any more poles to be with a chance of... Oh, and there we go, there's another one. This is not a great start for the Hungarian athlete. She really needs to get her horse to pick his feet up. Lavinia Benesio rode the horse Sikakita that Alexiev is on in the earlier round, just had the 2 rails, so maybe Alexiev has had them out of the way and she'll be clear for the rest of the round. She'll certainly be hoping so, as will the crowd that are watching very intently. So she seems to, well, her horse seems to be picking his feet up.
Horse, yeah. Heading into the triple, 10A. Clears A.
And that was a bunny hop.
B.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, takes that bar.
And that was bound to go, and I'm not sure if C stayed there. I think C did.
C stayed.
But I mean, she just didn't pick him up coming into that, and just running out. We're going to have some time penalties here if she doesn't start to. Well, we're near the end. It'll be
she did cut that corner, but we'll see. Ooh, horse trips there and clears 12.
Crowd are happy with that, but those are probably 3 poles that she didn't want to have down. That gets expensive. Every pole is looking at 7 seconds in the combined. She just threw away 21 seconds just like that.
That's really hard.
So a score of 279.
806 total points after 3 of the events for Tamara
Alexiev of Hungary.
Yeah, one thing that hurts in the riding is the poles that you drop, because I mean, 1 pole is 7 seconds in running, which is can tell you, you know, gold medal to 5th place.
It certainly can, and it's so frustrating as a rider. But now we are into the last 2, and it is Italy's Alice Sotero riding Carlos, who we see entering the arena.
Ali's from Italy, finished 7th in the fencing with 22 victories and 13 defeats. 6th place in the swimming with 297 points and with a time of 2:14.
So Sotero is an athlete who's still very young and not as experienced. She had a great start to her competition in the last World Cup in Rome, in her home city, but just couldn't quite hold her nerve together when it came to the combined event, and ended up slipping right down by the 3rd shoot. So she'll be looking to see if maybe she's learned a lesson from that and can put it together a little bit more today, because she's having a good ride so far. No poles gone and looking positive.
Seems really good control of the horse, and getting around those turns quickly and comfortably, and passes jump number 5.
So we are just the 2nd from last rider, and we will be interesting to see the results. We've had a lot of mistakes throughout the ride, and the positions would have changed quite dramatically, especially in this top half of the draw. So if Sotero can have a clear, she no doubt will be delighted, because she knows she's opened up a gap between her and some of those trailing behind in her wake at this stage of the women's final.
Opening that turn there, right behind 3, heading into 11. Clears 11 and regains the control of the horse for 12 and clears 12.
Wow, I think that might be another clear round that we see today. I certainly didn't see any rails go down, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th clear round of this 2nd round of riding. We only saw 2 in the first, and that proves how
300 total points
the
for
standard of the
300
riding
points for riding,
makes a difference.
and
So it's confirmed.
29 total points after
Great
3
score
of
of
the
300
events
for Alice
Sotero.
Sotero of Italy. And that will put her in great stead going into the combined again. And maybe she's learned to deal with the pressure, not quite as much pressure as competing at home that she would have had at the last World Cup in Rome. So now it is just 1 rider left to go. And representing France is Elodie Clavel on Bizank.
Elodie finished 2nd in the fencing with 23 victories and 12 defeats. 2nd in the swimming with 310 points and a total time of 2:10.21. She looks pretty confident and sure of her riding, so we'll see what the result is.
I think looks can be deceiving because Clavel is not so confident in her ride, and just interviewing her after the swim in the fence, she is saying, you know, you can't say anything until after the riding. It's really her weakest discipline, and she's worked so hard on it, and it's great to see such an improvement on this athlete. So only a few years ago she would be in tears at the ride, shaking like a leaf, and you know, really nervous, and she's come on leaps and bounds, excuse the pun in riding, but
yeah.
If she can get around this, she'll be so happy.
She cuts that corner right there, which shows a lot, trying to save up time there. Horse looks comfortable, past number 5, so we'll see how she corrects the horse here on this long run and approaching number 6.
And she's a rider that's learned to sit very still. She might not be that effective if there's a problem with the horse, but if the horse like this is very genuine and forward going, then one thing that Elodie Clavel does do is sit nice and quietly and gives the horse the best opportunity to clear the fences comfortably. And not the straightest line she needed there, but the horse definitely helped her out and
see if she
got out
cuts
the
this
other
corner
side.
right here, and she does.
Just the final fence for Clavel.
Ooh, puts in that last stride as well, but clears
Look
it
at that.
great, and she is happy.
Now that
She is happy.
That was a close call at that final fence,
Perfect
but
ride of
perfectly
Elodie
around to
Clavel
add to our
from
collection in
France
this second part of the ride. So that concludes our riding. We'll just wait to see confirmation of Elodie's score as we watch the replay, but she definitely got it close to the final fence. She will be, will know that she got away with it at that one, but we'll be delighted as we saw her reaction afterwards. And it's confirmed a score of 300 for the French athlete, and she will maintain her lead at the top of the leaderboard after the 3 events. And that leaves us with just one event left to go, and we will wait for the results, but I think a few positions will have changed. The last 2 will have kept their position of first and second. It's Elodie Clavel of France leading, and Italy's Alice Tero in second. And I think we were just about to see an updated results list before we leave you. There's a great view there of the riding arena, but that's
a beautiful, it turned into a beautiful day today in the afternoon, and we're going to have a great combined event.
Well, here we go, and it's looking exciting at the top. Not that many points dividing. Clavel leading. Isaacson in the bronze medal position at the moment, but my money, looking very quickly at this, would be on Isaacson. We're just flicking through.
Isaacson, I believe that Sofia Voldasi with her combined will push herself up and hopefully.
And Samantha Mory as well. I think it's going to be a real fight at the top for the combined athletes. It's a very
for the combined athletes.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's a close competition, and it'll be quite exciting to watch. But we're going to leave you with the results to look at, and we will see what happened there. Now, Samantha Mory down at 31st, which I think there's a mistake with that one.
It's a mistake because she did clear this course. I don't remember how much, but she did clear this course, and she is not eliminated, as I believe.
So I think she's one that will be up there fighting for the medal.
Hopefully they'll fix that right there.
So anyway, that is goodbye from myself, Heather Fell, and thank you very much to my compatriot here.
Thank you, Heather. It's
Charles
a really pleasure.
So we'll say goodbye, and we will be joining you in the combined shortly, so make sure to tune back in again later. Thank you from us.
Thank you.